So before we get started, what's on off the table for profanity? So I make sure I don't.
Oh,
screw
nothing.
that up.
You're
Okay,
fine.
cool.
Nothing. We had a whole
We can drink.
discussion.
We can fucking curse. You can talk. We talk about anything you want to talk about.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I was on a live radio this week, and I was like, "Don't say fuck, don't say fuck, don't say fuck."
Dude, I've been there. I've done that too.
Yeah. It's awful.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when like fuck is half of your vocabulary, which it is for me.
Yeah, it's a
That
good
happens.
adjective.
It really
Doesn't
is.
describe anything.
It really works anywhere.
And it helps when you get injured. It helps heal. It's the
It does.
healing process.
It does.
It's
It's
the
the
first thing
healing
that
process.
helps the healing process.
Yeah. Physical and emotional
Triggers
healing
it.
all start with fuck.
Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my... Bacon! Bacon is my podcast! Bacon! Bacon is my...
Why are you looking
Hi.
at me? You're looking at
Yeah.
me like I should start?
Yeah, I was looking at you, so you should start.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
What's up?
everybody.
What's going on?
Welcome.
How are you?
What are we doing here?
I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay.
You were talking to them.
How
I'm
am I
talking to
doing?
Yeah.
I'm welcoming people to Bacon is My
you. Oh,
podcast.
well, cool. Welcome to Bacon is my podcast.
How am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm here.
How's your week?
I'm here.
I am also here.
Yeah, pretty good. Let's not, let's not beat around the bush here.
Let's not. Derril from the Ansible
He's here
is
today
here today on today's episode.
on this epic as fuck.
It is epic. I love whenever we talk to somebody that isn't sure what they're in for and they end up liking it.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
what happened here.
Oh, totally.
I really
totally
think
did.
that's what happened here.
It totally did. And he definitely he told his wife, dude, it's a quick podcast interview.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. And then he was on with us, and guess what happened? He got in trouble.
He got in trouble.
But it is date night for him.
It is date night.
So go into this realizing it's date night. But he'll be back when it's not.
Yeah, he will be back because we had a good time and we had so much more to get into.
Yeah, I mean he's a
We
big
barely
Dumb and Dumber
scratched-
fan.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface. We just started getting into Dumb and Dumber. We know he's a cable fan. We know he's a movie fan. There's so many more things we could hang out and talk about. Definitely a guy that we're going to have a beer with in person at some point.
At some point.
So, so we hope you enjoy the interview. It was super fun to do. He's a super cool dude, and the Ansible is a really good band.
Yes.
So definitely, if you haven't already, check them out. Jump on the links that are in the description.
Yeah.
Check out their music. Check out their videos. Look for, and I didn't even ask him about. Right, I didn't ask him about in the time slip video. There's a cable reference at the end of the video.
Yeah, well, he was
There's
talking
a little
about how
eye shine thing that happens. His
Yeah.
eye goes red and it pops out and everything.
Well,
And I didn't get to ask him about it.
he talked about little tidbits
Yeah.
about cable that are in the song already. So
Exactly. So definitely
At
check
any
that out.
route,
check out the video. See if you see when it happens.
right, check out the video. But before we get into the interview,
Yeah.
what we do have to get into is the plethora of things in front of us.
Oh yeah, you can see we have some new sponsors, and we have some sponsors with some new things.
With some new things.
Yep.
So please make sure you support our sponsors as much as you support us. Grillyourassoff.com. Make it grilling season all the time.
Yeah,
Right? And if you use the promo code BACON, you get 10% off.
spices rule.
Yeah. What is this one right here, Jim?
Uh,
It looks like popcorn, but it's not.
It looks like popcorn, but it's not. Poddex, our longtime sponsor, Poddex, has come out with brand new card decks, which
Yeah.
are awesome. We have right here the "How dare you," which is in very Dr. Seuss writing, but on a movie popcorn box, which I absolutely love. And then we also have the MTV classic inspired. What the fuck?
Yes.
Finally, a WTF deck.
Yeah.
And
I
we
can't wait till that T-shirt comes out.
just got those. Yeah, I can't wait for that either. So those came out, and we are jumping into those, and so you'll start seeing questions from those, which is super awesome.
And of course,
yeah, let's talk about
this menagerie right here is Wild Bill's. Wild Bill's is that soda company that you see at fairs all the time. You go to this big carriage with what looks like a giant barrel. You start pulling the taps, and you have delicious soda from copper cups. But that's not all they do. They do cans of soda as well. They do snacks. They do coffee. The coffee is fucking awesome, by the way.
We got bags of peanuts.
We got bags of peanuts.
Which
Jen
I
and
noticed that the garlic peanuts, when I left last time, there were some left.
there are none left.
And now I like when you walked out to pee earlier, I was like, I wonder if there's any of those garlic peanuts left.
There are none left.
There are not.
No.
And
So we're gonna
you
have
know
to crack into a new.
There wouldn't be if it was my place either.
Yeah. Well.
So I'm 100%. I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely go to drinkwildbills.com.
Yeah.
Use the promo code BACON. I mean, that's across the board.
Yeah.
Promo code BACON, 10% off. GrillYourAssOff.com, Poddex.com, DrinkWildBills.com.
That's a combined 30% off of stuff.
Yes. And it just makes your life better.
It definitely does. It definitely makes your food better and your conversations better.
Yeah.
So if you want to make your food better and your conversations better, do that. But right now, check out the interview that we have with Derril from the Ansible and make your music better and listen to something new. So check it out and remember to ask yourself,
What's your bacon?
it's your bacon.
What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And before we get into this week, if one episode just isn't enough for you and you need a little bit more Bacon is My Podcast, head on over to patreon.com/Bacon is My Podcast. Over there, you will get access to monthly live streams, discounts on merch, early and commercial-free access to Bacon is My Podcast episodes. Some of them are even extended surprise giveaways, additional shows, including Tasting is My Passion, and, of course, Cooking with Bacon is My Passion. And oh yeah, you get a crap ton of music. That's right, all of Jimmy and Mike's bands, previous, current, whatever it is, you'll get access to that music, demos, and much, much more. Just head on over to patreon.com/Bacon is My Podcast and learn what the hoopla is all about.
Hey, I'm Mickett from Rivals, and you're consuming Bacon is My Podcast.
Welcome, everybody.
Oh, that was so soothing. That was
Yeah.
soothing. That was like butter in my ear holes.
That's my radio voice.
Nice. I like it.
I don't think I'm going to turn it off.
I don't think you can do this for the entire show.
Challenge. No, I can't do that. What's up, everybody?
I can't listen to that.
Right, yeah. Nobody wants that.
No, it's just going to make people uncomfortable,
Which is kind of
which is funny, but also we don't want people to turn this episode off because today we have Derril, the lead singer from the band, the Ansible.
Yes.
What's going on, dude?
Hey, man. Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right. Thank you for spending some time with us today. We know you you jumped out of a rehearsal early, so
Because you got some shows coming up.
you got
First
How's
show
that
back.
feel?
Dude.
Yeah, I was gonna say first show back is
Ugh.
as of the time of we're recording this, it's tomorrow, right?
Yeah. It is Sunday evening. I bounced out of rehearsal about 45 minutes early just to make sure that I got here so we could have a chat and hang out. I appreciate you
Nice.
having me on, by the way. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the guys, they finish up doing some instrumentation, tightening up the little things that it's our first show with Mark, our newest member.
Yeah.
So it's
Which
it's
is-
one for the books.
Yeah, I mean, which is really cool because, I mean, you know, if you look at your history in the band and stuff like that, it's been a pretty consistent lineup, right?
For the most part.
Yeah, and
You
now
got some
it's
part-timers.
a four
well, like
a
long-term
4-part.
fill-ins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a couple of guys, a couple of friends that while Darian was finishing school and Nigel was he basically had gotten a promotion within his career and wasn't able to tour for about a year. And so we had a couple of friends from here in Texas step up for drums and bass to help us make sure we could do the tours and stuff that we had. So that was awesome of them. And,
That is awesome.
but yeah, pretty consistently. I mean,
But you've been a 4-piece pretty much, and then all of a sudden, you added a new official member.
Yeah, we've been a 4-piece for about 2.5, 3 years now, probably. We the original lineup of the band had another guitar player. Unfortunately, we just didn't see eye to eye anymore, and decided to go our separate ways. And that was between us, and so we pretty much kept that quiet. Not trying, no sense spreading dirty laundry or anything like that.
Right,
So.
yeah.
But yeah, we continued on as a 4-piece for a really long time, and we were comfortable with that. Like backtrack, like we use tracks for everything. So we backtracked the second guitar, and it was great. And then actually, the last show we played was February last year in San Antonio, where Mark lives. And he's an old friend. We've been on tour with him and his other band, and just great dude. Like he and I get together and just play Magic the Gathering and shit like that. Drink good beer. But we were playing that show. He came to the show, of course, and we were hanging out. And at the end of the show, he's like, "Hey, I'm just gonna throw this out there. If you guys ever decide that you want somebody else to tour on guitar or more, I'm just throwing my name in the hat." And it was like, how have I never thought about this ever?
Right.
Like when did my brain think to skip over out of all the people we ever thought about? Because of course, initially we thought about like, who are we going to get to replace second guitar? And we rolled around some ideas and even asked a couple of people who just didn't have the time or weren't interested or thought we were lame and told us to go fuck ourselves. But
Right.
I was like, in my head, I was like, if ever we are going to have another member, it's Mark. And so on the way home, talked to the guys, and they're like, well, yeah, if we ever have another member, Mark is the guy. But the other guys aren't as easy to convince because, we had kind of had a hairy situation before, and we were all very comfortable with each other, very tight-knit, close friends, family. I mean, close friends from a musical standpoint. Everything music we talk about every day. Band chat's constantly blowing up, 6 a.m. to midnight. Like, it's awesome. But anyway, so Mark has always been one of those people that we could confide in with new music and stuff like, hey, how does this sound? What do you think of these transitions? What do you think of this vocal line? Everybody has those people that they can depend on in bands. And Mark has always been one of those guys. Well, he would slap out ideas and send them to us. Be like, what do you guys think of this? And what do you think of that? And like all of the new songs, like in the demo stages, he was a part of the writing for all of that. And it was like one day Greg called me. He's like, dude, Mark has to be in the band. Like, I don't know why we're fighting it. Like, he has to be in the band. I'm like, well, I wasn't fighting it, but okay. So we did it like a birthday surprise where I was like, yo, dude, like, I'm trying to write this song on my own. And like, I'm a terrible engineer, guys. Like, I have a studio with Logic and everything at home, but I like dry track my vocals and shoot them over to Greg or Darian, and they work their magic. Like, those dudes are.
I am also a terrible engineer. Yeah.
I know how to record myself and like set my levels and stuff, but I don't know anything about vocal processing. Like, everything that I have, Greg literally took my laptop for a day and like downloaded everything I would need before I moved to make sure that I could track. So I was like, yeah, I'll FaceTime you later on tonight. And so I got all the band dudes in the FaceTime, and then we called Mark, and he was like, what's up, dude? He's like, oh, hey, it's all of you. We're like, yeah, we wanted to offer you the spot, and he was like, duh,
That's awesome.
like,
yeah,
that's so cool.
And he slid right in like he had been there the whole time. Honestly, he had been for months at that point on that level, and as a friend for years and years before that.
That's totally cool.
One of the first shows we ever played was with his other band, Memories of Broken Glass. So he's known about us and what we're about since basically the beginning. So it just made sense.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was honestly, it was one of the questions I had for you was about that, because like you said, when you're a songwriter, when you're a band, you always have your buddies that you're like, you send them the stuff and you go, it's not mixed, it's not finished.
The disclaimer texts are
list.
The best.
You're like
I know the
guitars are loud and it's super rough, but you always have those same people, and like he's one of mine, and then I'm definitely one of his too. Yeah. We have our group and everything where we send stuff too, and then like he's appeared on a couple of my records now, and we ended up writing songs together and putting songs out together and stuff like that too. And it's like, at what point do you look at that and you go like, you're already writing songs with the band, and if he already was like, hey man, I'll throw my name in the hat. I was curious as to like how close it was to the Let's Drop video.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
it's like, we need a guitar player. What about that guy? And everybody's, like I was like curious as to that, if it was like a band thing where everybody kind of already had that, or if you guys were already in the mindset of, we're going to replace and we're going to add another guy someday. Or if people in the band were kind of like, we're good the way it is. Another guy is another opinion, another guy to not do this or not do that. But it sounds like this guy was, it sounds like he was the guy always.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I said, it was so funny that we had never talked about him or thought about it. But at the time, when we first went down to a 4-piece, they were doing a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were busy. And then we settled into the fact that we were a 4-piece. We just never brought it up again. We were just going to continue to do it like that. And then when he said that, I couldn't get it out of my head. It was like, he has to be in the band, and the other guys were like, kind of like that, like apprehensive of like, well, we've done so well as this for so long. And I'll be honest, I texted him. Like a couple days after that, I was like, dude, personally, like I would tell you yes right now. I said, but we are pretty solid in this lineup that we have now, and we don't feel like we need somebody, but it's not about a need. Like I want you here because you're an amazing musician and songwriter and a wonderful friend, and I was like, just start like hitting Greg up. Be like, Greg, what do you got going on, man? Like, let me hear what you got. And he did. Yeah. And, Greg was like, oh, sending him bounces. Like, check this out.
Nice.
And Mark would just take it upon himself and be like, yo, like, I just heard this lead, so I had to send it to you. Like, let me know what you think. But then one day, and then that was that day I was talking to Greg about the different songs and like, some of the changes we were going to make when we did all the final tracking and everything. And he was like, dude, Mark is on this entire EP. And honestly, we had 12 songs. We condensed it down to 5 for the EP, but he was on all of it. And it was like, dude, he's got to be like, he's a workhorse.
He's already in the credits.
yeah, basically like he's definitely done more than his share to earn a spot to play with all of us. And
so that's all I got to do to join Craving Strange.
Right. No, that's awesome. I think that's awesome. Like that's the very first band I ever joined. I did that. Like I wanted to be. I saw them live. I wanted to be in the band. I learned all their songs. I called up the guitar player and I was like, "Hey man, what are you doing tomorrow?" And he was just like, "I don't. What?" I was like, "I'm gonna go here. You want to go there? You just want to jam on some stuff?" Like we knew each other. This was like back in high school, so like we knew each other and stuff. And we showed up to hang out and like just jam on things. And he was like, "What do you want to play?" And I was like, "How about all of your songs? Because I already know how to play them all." And I started going through them. And I was like, I'm either going to look like a crazy stalker or he's going to be like, "Oh, you sing harmonies. Oh, you added some parts. Oh, you did this." And I love that. I love that whole thing, and that the camaraderie of finding someone that like gets the music and gets you as writers and gets you as people. And a band member is a band member, whether they're really in the band or not. You know, it's like you have those people that are like, you're a fucking band member. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
you're so in the band that you know, like like he's a member of my band. We have other friends that are like, you guys are honorary band members, whether you're on stage with us or not, because
Right. Yeah.
you're
Not
just
everybody
there.
performs, but yeah.
Yeah.
And bands that don't understand what we're talking about right now, you're fucking up. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. You're doing
music
100%.
music is a community. It is
Yep.
very important that you support each other. And I've felt very fortunate we're in Austin where all of the musicians, we all hype each other up. We all share each other's posts personally. I mean, obviously, you try to keep your band page professional, but like Colorblind, Austin, Texas, Fire from the Gods. I mean, they're fucking huge now, but
Yeah.
I remember them when they first got signed, and I literally watched AJ sign his contract. Like I was in the bar with him,
That's awesome.
and that's so epic because I'm so proud of those dudes. But like, there's so many good musicians in Austin, and I want to support all of them. You know, a bunch of the bands in Austin, they record with Greg. You know, a lot of the hip hop and R&B performers record with Derril. And we love being a part of that community so much. And I agree with you. You as a band, sure, there's 5 performers, but we have like 50 fucking members. You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Your whole scene is the members of your band. You know,
Exactly.
Like, we found the same thing, and I know, like, I lightly know what you're talking about in Austin, because when we went there and we did South by, and meeting a bunch of bands from Austin and getting to kind of like do that. Like we kind of played shows around the area too during South by, so that we could actually play with like Austin bands and Texas bands and stuff too. And just the camaraderie was so there. It was like, it's super cool when you go and you play with a band and you meet them and they immediately know everyone else on the bill and they introduce you to everybody else on the bill.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a big thing. That's an important thing. When they introduce you to their fans and you're an out-of-state band, like that's a big deal.
That's huge.
That's a big thing.
It's huge.
And Austin's one of the places where, you know, like I've definitely found that, and it's less common than it should be. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are doing it wrong. It's not as common as it should be. But it's awesome there.
And it's not for everybody to be as outward about it as I am, because I'm essentially I play music and track music and tour and all the fun stuff, but I'm still a fangirl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I see a band that I love, I have to go tell them, you guys are awesome. Like thank you for playing such a good set. I appreciate what you just did. But you also have to remember, like, you're the example to people who don't do what we do, right? When fans of your band come see you and they see you go up and hype up that band after their set because they nailed it, they see that as opening the doorway for them to do it as well. And
it's okay if I like this band. Yeah.
Right. And maybe not even that, but of course you like the band, but it's okay to go tell them how much you enjoyed their set. Because that's fulfilling.
It's not a competition.
Yeah.
It's not. And I'll be 35 on Tuesday, right? And like the scene I grew up in, those were our friends. Those are the only people that accepted us for who we were, wearing fucking girl pants with a bandana hanging out the back and our bangs hanging in our face. Right. Like I am OG scene kid from the early thousands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I still wear band t-shirts. Look, I am wearing a Fire from the Gods band t-shirt right now.
Absolutely, dude.
But that's just, you know what I mean? Like camo cargo shorts. That was it. That was the thing.
You know what's funny?
Those on right now.
No, I don't have them on right now. But he makes fun of me all the time for it.
Just on stage.
Well, I realized that I have short legs, so I can't wear cargo pants because I look like a tool bag.
Capris.
I look like capris. I have short everything, so
they
I'm
look
a
like
short
capris
guy.
on you. You look like you're about to do a minuet.
I look like I left an ICP concert.
Okay. None of the Juggalos, man.
Point taken. So one thing that I've heard about, rumor and innuendo, is that a lot of this new EP, this new record that was written was inspired by comic books.
Actually, Time Slide, which released on Friday, is about Cable from the Marvel comic book series. If you get into X-Men and stuff, Cable was a mutant, and he lost his whole family and like goes into like all of the apocalypse stuff. Pretty detailed series and a great read, but that's why it's called Time Slide, because that was his like catchphrase. He'd be like, Time Slide by 2, and and so Greg, we didn't have lyrics for that song. Like it was like the ultra heavy one. You know, we always have an ultra heavy one. Like we can't help it. We love super low tuned, extended range, multi-scale guitars and stuff like that. So
that's my thing. So I get it.
Right. And so he was like, yeah, so I really like this concept of like the time slide thing where he goes, you know, back and forth to try to save his family. And absolutely, that whole song is about that. There's even a lyric in there, and if you pay close attention when you go read the lyrics, it's a scream in the middle of the chorus that says to keep hope alive, and hope is capitalized because that was his daughter's name.
That's his daughter, yep.
And it makes sense from a just hope in general, you know, like the feeling of hope. But you know, we love doing that, like, and we always have had like obscure inspirations for songs. All of these songs were amassed to express how we felt during the pandemic, during the lockdown, that feeling of isolation where, depending on where your mental goes, struggling with depression or anxiety or you know, me being extremely extroverted, it drove me up the wall not to be able to see anybody. You know, except my wife, which fortunately she and I are like best fucking friends. So if you're going to be locked away with somebody for 9 months without other human contact, at least it's with somebody who likes to play Yahtzee with you. You know what I mean? Right. But so when we got together to write the EP, yes, that song was inspired by Cable, and one of the songs that almost made it. It was almost a 6-song EP, but we ended up cutting that one too because we wanted to rewrite it. And a lot of the songs that got cut are going through new iterations now.
Right.
But there was a song about Jean Grey. So obviously Marvel, Dark Phoenix.
Right.
Yeah.
The comic, not the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Like we also had a song about Moira McTaggart. Because if you go into the multiverse,
deep cut.
And I will be honest, I am not nearly the comic book nerd. Like I read the ones that Greg sends me because they're always like if there's ever a person to talk about that with, it's him. And like he doesn't give bad advice about check this out.
Right.
But if you go into, nobody knows that she's a mutant, right? Like she lives her whole life and doesn't ever seem to express any ability. Well, she actually lives her life like a bunch of times because her mutant ability is that when she dies, she starts over in the womb with all of her memories, with all of her experience and knowledge and everything. So she goes through, if you read in the series, she goes through these different ideas of trying to stop the apocalypse, of finding Charles Xavier early, not finding him at all, even siding with Apocalypse one time, like doing all these different things to try to change the outcome of the end of the world. You know, and that in itself was like, what a cool concept. Like,
that's a crazy,
you know, I don't know if I would want to live forever and basically like start over in my same body every time.
Not if it's the same every, you know,
Right. Well, and having the ability of choice to make different decisions and amass all of that knowledge, that wealth of knowledge that she would have, just that concept was like so cool. And the fact that like she felt the reason that her storyline went into the ideas was because no matter what she did, she was helpless. She felt so hopeless that she was never going to get out of this eventual demise. And that's, you know, in line with the same concept of like being locked in your apartment with no job. And we had to Instacart groceries because you couldn't even go in the grocery store for the first 6 months. Like, Yeah, that shit sucks, and everybody felt the effects of that, and still do in some places. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you go to New York, you want to go to a restaurant in New York City, you better have your vaccination card. You know?
We're in New York.
We're in New York.
Ah,
That's
okay.
where we're
So you,
at.
oh, I
get
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah.
I knew you were
Yeah,
on
I
the
went-
East Coast.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. So, we just played the fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw our new sponsor next to us at the fair,
Right.
right? Any of you that have ever been to festivals, one of the coolest spots to go to is that spot that's selling you sodas where the copper mugs.
Oh, they're the best.
Wild Bills, dude.
Yes. And you don't just have to go to a fair to get their stuff anymore. You can go
Right.
to drinkwildbills.com and they'll send it right to your house.
They sent that ginormous box to us.
Huge box
Yeah.
of stuff, and it made me realize that Wild Bills isn't just soda.
Yeah, I thought it was at first, but man, the jerky and
Nuts and coffee.
oh man, snack foods, coffee, everything.
And if you go there now, drinkwildbills.com, use the promo code BACON, of course, and you get 10% off.
Oh, dude, check it out. Stick with us because we're going to be letting you know how that coffee tastes. We're going to be doing some tasting episodes on literally everything in the box.
Yes.
So stick with us. But, dude, you've had it. You've been at fairs. I've bought it. I bought that mug. It's awesome. I love it.
And now, again, we're heading into the winter months. It's going to get a little colder. No more fairs. Just have it delivered right to your door.
Drinkwildbills.com.
Yeah.
Easy for me to say.
Blah, blah, blah.
Once. Check it out. Promo code BACON.
Hey, this is Cade Katz. You've been listening to Bacon is My Podcast. What's your bacon? These guys are amazing. So thanks for having me, and keep spinning these guys and give them a follow.
Yeah, I went to my first show. I went to go see Beartooth and Wage War and Dragged Under, and we went to Connecticut. You needed to have proof of vaccination, negative or a negative test.
Mm-hmm.
You had to wear a mask the whole time. So yeah, I get it. I get it. It's
Yeah, we did our first show. Like yours is tomorrow. Ours was a couple weeks ago. We did our very first show at but it was an outdoor fair type situation.
That's
And
fun.
it was super fun. And just being on stage, like, I can't wait for you to have it, honestly, just because, just coming from it and doing it is, I'm like, everybody I know that's a musician, I'm like, I can't wait for you to have it. I can't wait for you to go on stage.
I know. And you're not the first person to tell me that too. Like, dude, I'm so excited for you.
It's such a fucking emotional, like, everything
Oh,
hits you all at once. Like, I didn't even know I missed this as much. It's like craziness.
I'm not
But
even
it was
afraid
like-
to tell you. I will cry. I am going to cry.
Oh,
on
dude,
stage.
I was
there.
He was there. I was like, I
Bawling.
was like, this isn't even a sad song. What's going on?
Yeah. But a lot of our songs are sad songs because the
Most
joke's
of
on
mine are,
everybody.
yeah.
Everybody thinks we're a metal band. Really, we're just an emo band that plays heavy songs.
Hey, man, that's
Yeah. Well, it's you. Oh man, you're not even just like a metal band. You're very like there's a lot of ambiance.
Mhm.
There's a lot of depth to your sound, and oh man, yeah. Don't just call yourself a metal band.
Well, and we
Come on.
don't. But it's also like you know how it is, especially in metal, like the subgenre thing. Everybody knows about the subgenre.
everything's got to be a
But
different.
like, what am I gonna say? We're progressive, ambient, post alternative metal. Like, yes, we
That's a
are,
mouthful.
Well,
right.
That's
like,
a mouthful.
yeah, it's funny because when I first started like diving into some of your music, I was like one of the bands that kind of came to mind musically, which is interesting because I found out that it was the very first show that you played was Tesseract.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was trying to wrap my head around kind of like, okay, what am I in for these next, when I listen to like 10 more songs from like the first couple. And it's like, okay, what am I in for there? But then vocally and lyrically and melodically, there's some other stuff
There's a lot of stuff
leaking in there, like a lot of different stuff happening.
I love
a lot of really kind of like arcing melodies, and there's like little bits of like there's hooks in there that are interesting and fun, and that so it's not it's like hard to genre.
Yeah,
like
I mean, honestly, I just tell when people ask, I just say we play heavy music.
Right. Yeah.
Because musically it's heavy, but it's not all screaming, it's not all singing, and the singing is pretty diverse, especially now that I've gotten Greg to start singing. You know, we released the single, and this tomorrow is actually the first time we'll play it live, because when we released it,
that's awesome.
The same thing, pandemic.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I grew up in South Carolina. Like I live in Myrtle Beach. Mm-hmm. You guys, I'm sure you know where Myrtle Beach is. So
I was there this summer.
Right. Yeah. It's a touristy beach town in South Carolina. A lot of, religious people. So I grew up very heavily in the Southern Baptist Church, started singing in the choir when I was like 7 years old.
Right.
So I learned how to sing by singing Southern Baptist hymns.
So that's where that low soul is coming from. I gotcha.
You're never going to get me to stop that. Like I love like soulful music. Like it's 100%. Been ingrained that, regardless of how you feel about religion, if you go to church, go to a Southern Baptist church just so you can sing, because
listen to music, man. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's so fun. And then, I even like played trumpet in the band and stuff. So I learned about like instrumentation from that music as well, because I was very fortunate when I was that age to have a youth pastor who was very musical. And even though I may not be religious now, I hold that dear. It attributed to who I am as a singer.
Of course, yeah.
But like I said, I'll be 35 on Tuesday. So I grew up with, my dad, who loves hair metal and Van Halen and Kiss and bands like Extreme and Dixie Dregs and like all these bands that do crazy stuff.
That's where you got your dancing skills. Check out their videos.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. And honestly, my dad took me to a show to see Quiet Riot when I was like a little kid, like way too little, and like the lawnmower cans on the head.
Right.
And I'm watching like this dude give like just ooze sex on stage, right? Like women are in front of them losing their minds, like ripping their tops off and like play with my titties. Like, I'm a little kid and I was like, I want to be that guy,
Right. Yeah. And not for all of you that don't know Quiet Riot, not an attractive man.
No.
But oozing sex nonetheless.
But the one thing you can take away from that is the level of entertainment value. Yes. Like he was an entertainer through and through. It's the same thing with like old school, like David Lee Roth when he was with Van Halen. Terrible singer, terrible.
Right.
Couldn't remember the lyrics to his own songs for like 4 years. But people loved him. They didn't even care. They would just let that happen. See, I can't do that. The one time I've ever had a show where I just completely lost the words to a song, I was so embarrassed. Like one of the things that we work on is tightness, and like being ready for shows.
You guys
making
have to.
Sure.
If you guys aren't tight, it's going to be a mess.
Oh,
like you guys,
terrible.
You have so much going on.
Oh, you guys,
music.
Yeah, and that's one of the drawbacks to having all of that atmosphere and ambiance that we include into the tracks, is that if you're off or your guitar's out of tune or you're not following the time, like people are gonna notice, So it's definitely one of those things that we're neurotic about, is making sure that we sound good. But going back to it, like Chris Cornell is my favorite singer of all time.
Amazing, yeah.
Right, like unmatched. Lane Staley's up there too. Obviously, Forever 27 Club lost him too young. But like even like Ben Folds, like I grew up listening, loved Ben Folds, and like even like some of the butt rock bands that these days I'm like, why did I like this? But like I bought Hybrid Theory Linkin Park the day it came out, and wore that CD out in less than 3 months,
Absolutely.
And this is before, just so everyone knows, you couldn't always just download music. You had to buy it on a disc.
I
and put it in
actually-
a disc playing apparatus.
so
which no one can get now.
I went to a Red Hot Chili Peppers show. The Chili Peppers were touring with STP, and our local rock radio station, which, funny enough, we don't have anymore,
Right.
because we don't have any major metropolitan area doesn't have a rock radio station anymore. But I digress.
Hybrid Theory's new music for all of them still.
We
Oh, God,
got
no.
there was a street team there handing out singles of One Step Closer.
Right.
And I knew that song, and like you said, day of, I was like, I am getting that. I went to Tower Records that
Nice.
like midnight. I'm like, I'm going this. I'm buying this. Like, this is my shit right here. And yeah, man, I totally get that. I totally get that. You guys remind me a lot of like your singing style and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever heard of a band called One Side Zero.
No, but
Okay.
since you said that, I'm going to make a note about that real quick.
Yes, definitely check them out.
It's they had a lot of you have a lot of that vocal tone to it a little bit. And yeah, the sound and stuff like that. So it reminded me of that. And they were a little after like the Linkin Park era. Like they were kind of a part of that Edema era, but they were good.
Nice. I mean,
Sorry,
I love
no.
Edema.
I like some songs from Edema.
You do the job of two singers.
Don't go away. We'll be back right after these messages.
All right, Jim Z, you think grilling season is over?
Almost, right? Or-
No.
No.
Grilling season is never over because of
Okay.
a new sponsor of ours,
Ooh, what is it?
grillyourassoff.com.
I love the name already.
Yeah. It's a veteran-owned company that sells spices, barbecue sauces, cool swag, even cookbooks.
Oh, you know what? You sent me a link to that. I checked it out. That was awesome. They had some cool recipes right on their site. That was pretty awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's for free. But now that they're a sponsor, they've decided that if you use the promo code BACON, you get 10% off your order.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
ready. I'm definitely ordering some spices. They had a couple that looked really killer.
Yeah, and it's really, there's so many different selections that there's really a spice for everybody. The guys that are like heat heads, and even the people that just want something subtle, delicious, sweet, whatever it is, they've got something for everybody.
Awesome. Did we order any? Did we have any coming?
We've got some coming,
Nice.
and we're going to do some tasting episodes over on the Patreon
awesome. So
with
stick
a little bit
around.
of grill your ass off stuff.
Stick around, everyone, because once we get those in, we're going to taste them, we're going to go through them, and then we're going to let you know what we think, and maybe give you some choices that we would kind of go for.
So once again, head over to grillyourassoff.com, use that promo code BACON, and get 10% off.
Sweet.
Hey, this is Lo. You're consuming Bacon is my podcast. What's your bacon?
And what's cool is
Yeah.
that
Honestly, yes, I do.
you absolutely do, 100%. I'm a singer. I can't do the screaming as well at all, you know. And then I know a lot of guys that can, like, he's one that can really, really nail that. And then there's so few people that can kind of like meld a few different styles like that.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you do have that soul. I heard it right away, and I was like, to me, I'm like, you said Cornell and Lane Staley, those are two of my favorites of all time. And then Mike Patton is one of my absolute heroes of all time, just because he can do everything. You know? And it's like, so from my first day singing, I was like, I want to be like Mike Patton, and I'll chase that for the rest of my life. Rest of my life. But
and
that
I'll
baritone quality that you're able to keep, and then also pulling in that, like, for singer people out there, that vocal fry thing that you're doing, and then the screaming that you're doing, and then you also keep the soul in there, and you've got like a great range that you're using throughout your music like you're doing the job of two singers, and you have a guitar player that can sing great, and he sings in a similar but enough of a difference to where it's like, okay, this is the other guy. You know what I mean? Like when you're listening to it, if you don't watch a video or something like that, it's awesome. Like it's really cool to do, and it's not easy to do. So kudos to you for that, because that's pretty badass.
I mean, I really appreciate that's high compliment for me. Like one of the things that I am prideful about is that I never stopped with just singing. After high school, I was playing drums in this band that never even played a show, but because I played drums for a long time, but I enjoyed not metal, especially not like melodic death metal, because that's that's a lot of footwork.
Blast beats, bro. Blast beats.
Right. Yeah. And I wasn't about that life, and I knew like that wasn't the band for me. Right.
Yeah.
So I actually recommended a friend to take my spot. And they were like, well, we need a singer. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know how to scream. And they're like, you'll learn. You got it. And I did. I was 17 and I learned how to scream. And like, I just would watch, like I had like video, like old, like remember back in the day, like people would, when you buy a CD, you could get like the bonus pack with like a tour video.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so I had a tour video of, not Poison the Well, which actually what's funny is Poison the Well is one of the bands that I've always used as an example of how I learned how to scream. Like,
okay,
You Come Before You, in my opinion, is definitely one of the top 5 best all-time metalcore albums that's ever been written.
Yeah.
So I would literally, go, basically spent like 6 weeks before I joined, like before I started practicing with that band, where I would just sit in my car every day for like 3 hours and like blow my voice out because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then over time you learn technique, and then as the internet became more and more accessible, and you could go YouTube, people with scream tutorials.
You get your Melissa Cross CD.
Oh God, she's a godsend, and she's like one of the sweetest
amazing
people in the world too.
Have you taken lessons from her? Have you done one?
I've never taken a lesson from her, but I've met her a few times.
Dude, I recommend it 100%. I've done a couple with her, and it's amazing.
We opened up. She was on tour for with Matty Mullins as his vocal coach. Like he makes that kind of money that he can just like keep Melissa Cross on retainer to like make sure he's warming up properly every day. Cool, man. I love that for him. But
big time life, yeah.
But we opened up for them, and she was on the tour, like going on the whole tour that they had, and and she came up to me after. She was like, "You're a very talented singer," and I was just like, "Oh, what did you just say?" I don't even know. I didn't even know what she said because I recognized her, and she came up and talked to me, and I was like, like that was so crazy. And to be honest with you, I don't think that I'm like some virtuoso singer. I like to think that I hold my own and I put on a good live show, but there are way better singers out there than I am. But one of the points people like you just made, and I've kind of learned to own that about myself, is that I do a lot of different things, but I don't. It's not disconnected. Like it all serves a purpose
it
within
works.
our music.
And you're super versatile, and that's what I think is cool about it, is that like it's not easy when you have as a songwriter. For anybody that's listening that's not a songwriter, when you're a songwriter and you've got these lyrics and you've got this melody and you've got the music and you're going through it, you have this voice in your head for how you want to express what's happening. Hi, you have this voice in your head for what you want to express, and then your job is to then try and figure out how to express it that way, and sometimes that's really hard because you hear things in your ideal way that you want them to be.
Yeah.
And very few of us are capable, if any of us, of doing things in the ideal way we want them to be. Right. So then we're trying to figure out how to do our ideal brain our way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we do it my way. So
Well, and
there's plenty of
I
times.
feel that, like, and I still struggle with that. You know,
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
it's there's still things that I can't do because I just don't have another octave on either end. You know.
Well, you're
Well,
and you'll never not have that, hopefully, because you'll always be kind of like wanting to one up yourself. But the fact that you're able to, the fact that you choose to do so many things within a song and you do them really well and you connect them with each other, and it doesn't sound like, it's not like you hear hard edits. It's not like you hear like, oh, this sounds like two different guys doing it. It's like your scream voice melds with your singing voice, melds with, when you're getting melodic, it's the same as when you're kind of like more rhythmic. And it's really cool. It's really cool to see. And like, as a singer, I see that and I'm like, oh shit, that guy's got something that's interesting to me. And I want to hear more of it. And I want to kind of like dive into what's going on. And I think that's awesome, just because like I'm a singer and I teach vocals and all that kind of stuff. So
Awesome.
I dive into singers. And so I'm studying people's voices and I'm like, what's his accent? Where's he breathing? What's he like? I get into all the dumb stuff just because I find it super interesting. And so I like that about your voice. And I think it's really cool. And you do a good job of it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Honest, if you want my honest opinion of why I had the confidence to give that a shot, like just do it all. So always been a fan of Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh yeah.
Calculating Infinity Days. Like
Yep.
I saw them when they destroyed entire venues and themselves and the people around them, and everybody
Right.
just hugged at the end, including the venue owners. Like, I don't even care. That was great, you know?
Right. Yeah.
But when One of Us Is a Killer came out, and they had decided to open themselves up more into essentially rock and roll, like,
Right.
and not just be that crazy polyrhythmic, like, destroy everything band, and show really a more emotional side of themselves as a band. And that specific song, One of Us Is a Killer, was about a breakup.
Yeah.
And it really, I was like, dude, if Greg Puciato can sing about a fucking devastating breakup in the Dillinger Escape Plan, I can sing about whatever the fuck I want.
Goddamn right.
And I used to try to fit into these like little molds because, we all want to be popular as musicians because we want to do it every day. And the more popular that you are, the more you get to do it. So when people say like, oh, I don't want to be famous. You want to be famous enough to play music every day. Like,
right. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how I would handle like, big time fame, like, Post Malone, Billie Eilish, like,
Right.
That would devastate me because I wouldn't be able to live up to the expectations that come with that. But I want to be, I want it to be enough that so like we can just go play music all over the world whenever we want, and like that's fine. Not managing a restaurant or being a paramedic or
Of course, yeah.
doing whatever it is that any of us do to make sure that we can ensure that we get to play music. Because even only playing it, a collective few months out of the year is better than never doing it at all, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But so I always had like I had like this mental block about what I was allowed to do. And with this band, to be honest, we never thought we were going to be a live band. So I was just like, do whatever I want. Screw it. I'm going to scream. I'm going to sing. And this is in the realm of like, Periphery and Volumes and Veil of Maya and Era, like all the Sumerian bands all getting really popular and stuff. And so that made it more socially acceptable and even commercially viable that I was just like, cool. Well, I'm gonna take these influences and social cues, and I want to do it like that too.
Yeah. I think that's telling though that like and correct me if I'm wrong, but like it took like not having a plan to be a live band or to go for something that way to let you open up and say fuck it. And that's the thing that forced you into being a band that's a live band that's going for all the other things. Like it gave you, once you opened up to that,
Right.
that was the thing that went like, well, now people are going to pay more attention and they're going to invest more and they're going to be there more and they're going to care more because now you're showing more of you.
Yeah.
Right.
And instead of trying to fit that mold or trying to box yourself in or things like that. Like I found it like, I thought it was fascinating that like you guys had no plans of being a live band. You were just going to be a studio band. And it took a promoter going like, hey, I got an idea for a show. And then you guys like had to put together a band to do that show.
Yeah.
And then that show was with fucking Tesseract, you know, like, like that's nuts.
I mean, the Contortionists is one of my top 5 favorite bands ever, and they were on that bill too. So was Era and Sky Harbor. And I gotta say, like, those bands, that was one of the greatest opportunities of my entire life, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Anthony Stevenson here in Austin, Texas, really went on a whim to get us on it, because he had to actually fight to get us on the show.
Well, you weren't a band. Yeah.
But even so, they weren't, that whole tour, they only had 2 shows with locals.
Oh shit.
They already had 4 bands. So they weren't even trying to have bands, and you had to get approval from the tour manager and stuff, which is typical for any tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Shoot, we're playing with Rivals tomorrow. We played with them several times, and they're, we're buddies, but we still had to get approval. And that's part of the touring lifestyle. But
yeah,
he really vied for us, and if we would have tanked, like, it would have been letting somebody down who took a really big chance on us.
Yeah, he might not have been able to do that for somebody else. That might, like.
But I mean, honestly, that's his character. Like, if you ever want to meet one of the best promoters that I've ever met in the entire world, come to Austin, go to Come and Take It, and meet Anthony, because that guy, he lives and breathes this. He goes out and TMs with band. He fills in on drums with bands. He's got a band here in town that's fucking epic. Like, and called
that's
Critical
awesome.
Assembly, by the way. But those guys are like guys like him. I want to be like that. Like I like in the future. When younger bands, with a smaller following or whatever, hit us up, like, I never tell them no. If it's one of those things where we're going on the road and we can take somebody else with us, if we're not jumping on someone else's tour,
right?
And that band is awesome, I want to take that band, because I want other people to see them, because they deserve it, and I want them to get the feeling that I get when I get to go out and play music all the time. And it's been a long time, but I'll never stop doing that. And
dude, that's awesome.
But
that's
I
awesome.
mean, that's
super respectable.
But then we crushed that show. Like, I was so nervous. Like, when we got on stage, half the band puked before we got on, because there was like 500 people in an outdoor venue. It was like crazy.
Oh,
it was nuts. We sold 120 tickets. I've never sold 120 tickets to anything. But that show, everybody hit us up. They were like, "Yo, we've never seen you." I was like, "Yeah, because we've never played a show before."
How'd you miss us?
It's kind of embarrassing, It's kind of embarrassing that, like, hey, this band that's never played a show is opening for fucking Tesseract on this huge world tour. Like,
right?
Who are they? Why did they get it? But then we played, and we made it a point. We made it a point to let all of our friends and the local scene know that we meant fucking business. If
you got to prove yourself.
If we were going to come out and play live. Now, I will say that was torture, because I wrote that album with the idea that it was only going to be a studio album.
Right.
And I overdid everything, right?
Right. You're like, how am I going to sing this live?
Exactly. And I somehow did it, and I died. And shoot, I still smoked cigarettes at the time. Can you believe that? Like,
no, I can't.
Was I thinking?
Wow.
And these days, like, I would say that's one of the best things that we've done, is the practical application of, when we get in the studio, we say, how is this going to sound live?
Right.
And I would say, for advice from a guy that's not really popular and nobody gives a shit about him, but he's been doing it for a long time. When you go, for younger bands and younger people that want to get into this lifestyle, when you go and write your music and record it, make sure that you can do it live. Because these days, it's not like when I first started playing music, you would rehearse, you would write songs, and you would every practice rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, and
Yeah.
then you paid a lot of money to go into a studio. Well, now it's so much more accessible to,
Of course, yeah.
even if you're just tracking demos, like you can do it in your bedroom, and the sound quality is acceptable, if not awesome. But make sure that you experience that through practice. And my rule of thumb is if I can make it through our entire set twice without having issues, then I can play it once live in front of a crowd.
Yeah, then you can kill it once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. Awesome singer advice for sure,
great
because I've blown myself out.
Oh, we all
a
have.
lot.
Yeah. It comes
Especially
with
like
the territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's such an emotional thing that you're doing anyway. You know, like if you're in it, and no matter, like I work with people all the time, and I'm kind of like, okay, you got to warm up, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. But like when you get there, whatever your voice is that day, you're still going to do the show the
you
way
don't have
that you want
any
to do
other
the show.
choice.
You know, it's like it's gonna do whatever it's gonna do to your voice. You're just gonna go.
But I love it. I love it. I wouldn't.
It's the best.
Whether I'm worn out and have zero energy, I will make sure that what little energy I have is exerted on that stage for whether it's 5 people or 5,000 people, which
doesn't matter.
I've never played in front of 5,000 people. Would love to. I'll play in front of 1 million people.
Right.
You know, but for me, the entire thing is about giving someone an experience that hopefully they relate to. And at the end of it, when I'm standing, finish the set and I go stand at the merch table, come talk to me. You know, like I live for that. Like I'm open and honest about my experiences in life. You know, I've made a lot of bad decisions, and I stopped playing music for a long time, which is why I dive so deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, ultimately, that's what it's all about. And if you don't feel that passionate about it, I hope that you can find that just for other musicians that are out there doing their thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, we say all the time, it's like, you don't really choose to do this. You kind of like, you have to do this. People have always asked me, they're kind of like, you know, well, what happens the day where you don't do this anymore? And I'm like, there isn't a day where I don't do this.
It doesn't exist.
Like if you can quit this, by all means quit this, because there's a lot of easier and better and smarter things to do with your time than trying to do things musically. You do this because there's no other option and you have to do it. But then to that point, it's like, if you're a road band and you're out there and you're doing it, you give the same show to, if you're lucky enough to play Madison Square Garden, you give that exact same show to when you're in Columbus, Ohio, and 3 of the bands cancel that day, and it's just you playing for the bartender because nobody showed up. You give her the exact same show and the exact same experience.
I would say that the bartender is who you should always play for.
Absolutely. 100%.
If you really consider from a band standpoint, when you go and play in front of your fans, they love you no matter what, right? But the bartender is the one you have to impress, because they watch bands every day, and they sit in a fucking bar with all these different people coming up, and they're undervalued and underappreciated. If you can make an impact on that person, then you're winning. You know what I mean?
I am also a bartender, and so I support that message as well.
Well, cheers to that. I've been working in the service industry for 20 years.
There we go.
My condolences.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I love it. Like
Me too. And
I manage a little local restaurant, and when I got there, I just wanted some bartending shifts, and they were in need of, and so I jumped into it, and I love the place, and I love what I do. It's not nearly, I mean, it doesn't have a single iota of comparison to playing music, of course. But you know, credit where credit is due. If it wasn't for the service industry, I wouldn't have done this as long as I have, you know, and
100%.
And I've been very fortunate to have owners and managers and different things over the years that understood that I was so passionate about this.
Yeah, they let you leave, they let you come back.
And I've left
you
for
meet
6-8
new people
weeks
that you can bring to your shows all the time.
You know? And on
I don't
Monday,
think my industry will be as forgiving.
what do you
Yours?
do?
No.
No, but I don't care.
Right.
I don't think I care.
So what do you do?
Mike, what do you do?
I do inventory for a building materials like distributor.
Supply house.
Yeah, supply house. I do inventory. I currently implementing a crazy new barcode system. It's really boring. That's why we don't talk about it here.
That's all right. I mean, honestly,
it's a job, man. It's awesome.
It's awful.
It's
awful.
yeah, it's awful.
It's
but-
not awesome. It's awful.
but it gives you the ability to
Do this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do
Hang out with
this,
Derril.
I guess. Yeah. Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
I like you.
I like you guys.
I like you.
You guys are
Speaking-
awesome. I love doing these. Like I told you before, I'm a people person, but this is a lot of fun. Like
Awesome.
this is a
No.
great podcast.
Cool.
This is so fun.
So, if you want to have a lot of fun, this is the part where we pay the bills.
right.
If you want to have a lot of fun,
Speaking of fun, we have a sponsor.
and you're in the service industry
yes.
or a bartender like this guy, you can also benefit from pod decks. That was a good. That was
a
good,
good
right?
segue. That was nice. That was nice.
Well,
I
what's
was
a pod
thinking
deck?
about that.
So,
So
yeah,
what a
what's pod
pod
deck?
what a pod deck is cards. It's 50 cards in a deck, not 52
Not
like your
52.
standard deck of cards.
Yeah, no jokers in here.
No jokers. But okay, so pod decks is basically what happens when you need a little bit of help getting through an interview, when you like as an aspiring podcaster, right, or as a bartender who sees some people that are really uncomfortable at the bar, and you're like, hey, icebreaker, check.
Yeah, I will say that much like Cards Against Humanity, much like trivia questions, things like that, it's just great icebreakers. The company itself, they put out a number of different decks of cards with different topics, and
Right.
some of those topics are interview questions. Some of them are icebreakers. Some of them are episode ideas. So
I love
anybody
that.
that's trying to kind of get into this, into the podcasting thing, or going to do your first interview, or just even if you as a bartender, I've used questions and things from pod decks. I love kind of giving people things to do and things to kind of keep
Right.
them engaged. And
This is
definitely a
great
company that
for
does that.
for people who don't have verbal diarrhea like we do.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Well, where do you
Um,
get that?
Well, you get it at poddex.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you, my friend, and everybody watching, listening, however you're consuming this,
Right.
use the promo code BACON.
Ooh.
Get a whopping 10% off.
Yeah, 10% off your entire order. They have many decks of cards, many different
have
topics.
swag.
They just put out new cards. They have swag. They have
Nice.
t-shirts, all kinds of cool stuff. And they're a small company and a very cool company. The very first order that I made, I got an email from the owner, and I emailed him
Travis.
back just to
He is
see
super cool.
just to see if he would answer back, and he did.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It's not a form.
Travis is super cool. Give him a follow on social media if you're
Yeah.
an aspiring podcaster.
They have an app.
Even like their Instagram, they've got great tips. We've followed some, and we've validated some of the moves we've made as a podcast.
Yeah, we've made decisions
through
based
some
on-
of their things, and it was like, oh, cool, we're in the right place. Okay,
So long
cool.
story short, we like to once per episode do a little section where we allow you to pick which deck you would like a question from,
Yes,
and then we pick a random question, and you got to go for it. So
There
there
are
are
a
two
number of decks.
brand new decks.
Are you
so
telling me that there's a red pill and a blue pill?
there's
Oh,
more than
there's-
that.
there's
more than that,
seven.
my friend.
7. Okay.
So the newest one that is still yet to be opened
oh, well, we gotta open the new one. Come on.
is the what the fuck deck
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
with old school MTV.
V logo. Yeah. Oh yeah.
it's branded properly, but there's
We
just
also
real
have
quick,
the
we
How
have-
Dare You deck. We have
which is
the
brand new
interview questions.
interview. We have what the heck. We have interview 2.
Would you
Would
rather?
you rather interview
Ooh, okay.
edition 2? So I
All right,
mean,
there's 2 options here. I
Right.
like
no. You pick one.
Right.
Well,
So we
I
either
like
open a
would
new
you
deck.
I really like Would You Rather, but there's a new
So
deck,
do a lot of people.
I would
Yeah.
like to christen the new deck.
You have the opportunity right now.
You can do
Let's
that.
do it.
Be the man that
Or we
christens the new
can
deck.
give that to somebody else. If you want to do the what the heck, which everybody uses, that's fine. But you can also do the brand new
What the fuck?
what the fuck.
Yeah,
With
let's do that.
with appropriate
Let's do it. Let's do
MTV
it.
branding.
Let's do the MTV branded what the
Okay.
fuck.
I know.
So with
It's-
that being said,
The logo looks awesome.
The logo does look awesome, and I hope they do a T-shirt of it. There isn't one yet on the website, but the minute they do, I'm definitely buying one because I think that's great.
you know what we should probably do?
even though I don't look great in powder blue.
We should email.
Hey, Jimmy.
Travis
Speaking
that.
of, what is on your shirt now? Is that Loki?
No, this
No.
is the Baba Yaga. This is
It's very. I like that vaporwave look that's going on there.
I did too. My girlfriend got me this. This is one of the wish.com things that she bought that actually hasn't fallen apart immediately.
Oh yeah.
And,
well, yeah. You can't buy
I
anything on that
have
site.
I have a really cool CM Punk Ghostbusters
Yes.
shirt.
Yeah, that's
You've
a cool
seen
shirt.
that?
I've seen
Yeah.
that.
It is officially after 3 or 4 wears.
Yeah,
Done.
this has been probably 10 wears now. Like it's actually holding up rather nicely. It
Yeah.
feels like an iron-on. It definitely
Does it feel thick?
It feels thick like an iron-on, but the shirt is very thin and comfortable.
Okay.
But
nice.
yeah, it's it's some John Wick. It's the Baba Yaga. And
Baba Yaga.
I love me
Very
some John
nice.
Wick. Although I
Me
also,
too.
if it was a Loki, I would have bought it as well because I love Loki. And,
Loki's great.
we could talk Marvel or John Wick or MCU or DC.
Well, I'll
or
be
anything.
honest.
all
I have
night
to
long.
take my wife to dinner at some point tonight. So
That's fine. That's
Well,
fine. We'll do it for part 2. You're always welcome
with
back.
that said,
I'm down. I'm
all
down.
right. So Derril, he's gonna move his fingy across this deck of cards,
I'm
and
starting-
you tell him when to stop.
I'm starting
Okay.
at my left, your right, and we are moving slowly for those listening.
Stop.
Stopping right here. Here is our question. All right. Very first from the What the Fuck deck.
Yes. I love first.
Interesting question.
Okay.
Have you ever been bitten or attacked by an animal? If so, by what animal and why?
Yes, I have been bitten by a dog.
Okay.
In high school, one of my friends adopted this little asshole beagle, and he would just bite people, everyone.
All beagles are assholes.
Wow.
Um,
I used
and
to
yeah,
have a lot of-
so you can't obviously see it because I have poor lighting in this Airbnb, but I have a scar over here.
Oh shit! Full scar from it too.
Yeah,
I
this happened probably 18, 19 years ago. So yes,
Oh, dude.
I have been bitten by an animal. And
That's
I totally
hardcore.
feel your pain. I actually have a scar from a pit bull.
Do you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where's your scar from the pit bull?
It's on my arm. We'll look for it later.
Right,
I'll show
right.
you. But with the hair and yeah, but it's there.
I know beagles are assholes. Every beagle I've ever met's an asshole. Pit bulls are amazing. Absolutely.
Except
and you know what? Beagles
except
are
for when
amazing
they're
too
assholes.
because they're dogs, and all dogs are amazing. But still, like a lot of them have been kind of dicks. But pit bulls are pretty awesome. I had one. My family had one for a
Yeah,
while.
no, I had, and counterpoint, I had 2 beagles. One of them was
All
one
right.
of them was an asshole.
And the other one,
She was cool
like all the time.
most of the time.
So like 75% asshole.
But once you start like throwing another another breed in there,
Right.
that's okay.
Derril, are you a pet person? Any?
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Dogs, cats,
Whatever.
rabbits, mongoose. What are you into?
I The issue is that I
mongoose.
won't. I it's hard for me to say no, especially when somebody's like, "I got all these kittens with nowhere to live," and I'm like,
yeah, right.
But see, the great thing, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary with my lovely wife. The great thing is she doesn't mind telling people no. So when people come to me with those questions now, I say, you just got to ask Lee. As long as she says it's okay, we're good.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
that's key right there. My girlfriend's better at no than me too, so that's
Yeah, I'm terrible at it,
too.
honestly. Like I'm such a softie about those kinds of things. So
yeah,
it's really.
Do you guys have pets?
Oh yeah, we've
What do you
got a cat. Her name is Ethel Elizabeth Perman. Again, my wife is in theater,
name.
so Ethel Merman's one of her favorites, and
awesome.
So there's a good cat play on that. And then we have our honey girl. It's a dog we adopted actually last year at the beginning of the pandemic. We figured we can't go anywhere. Like now's a really good time to adopt a dog.
Yeah, we can train and be there. And
yeah, lo and behold, she walked off leash since day one and knows to go poop outside. It's like
that's awesome.
It is, but I also like had it in my head that I was going to spend all this time training a dog to do things. She's basically like training me now. She's like, she like comes over and she's like, "Hey, take me outside." Hey,
dude, I have a
just
similar
little mutt, you know.
My dog is very similar. His name is Bruce Wayne. He is a French Bulldog Boston Terrier mix. His eyes look in different directions all the time, so he sees the world like a lizard does. You can sneak up on him from the direct front. But he was another one where, like, from absolutely day one, it was like he peed and pooped outside, and we didn't have to train him on that at all. I wouldn't put him off leash because he's a little bit spastic in that way, where he's just like a person and he just goes, or he's like squirrel and he's gone. Yeah. But other than that, like, he's been super smart, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, and I have Bane.
Really
Bane from day one. Bane and Bruce Wayne have never met, so it's okay.
We're afraid Bane's gonna break his back. So.
Wow.
Bane is huge. Day one he was fine. Then pandemic dog happened, and he shits all over the place whenever he wants, and eats shit. Like, he'll eat a couch, and it doesn't fucking matter. Man. Yeah, that happens.
So we know you're going out to dinner with your wife. I just want to ask you just one more thing, and if we expand on it, we do, and if we don't, we don't, which is cool. And it's something I like to ask everybody that's on the show. Like, if there's one thing that you know a lot about and you love talking about and no one ever asks you about, and you're like, God damn it, when is someone going to ask me this? Because this is my thing. What would that be?
It's definitely the movie Dumb and Dumber.
What?
And here's why. Yes. That is my all-time favorite movie. If it's ever on, I'll never say no. If anybody asks me, I'm really indecisive about like where to go to dinner or what movie to watch. So I always say Dumb and Dumber, and I always say hibachi food because those are easy. But the scene where he's walking out of the gas station, he's like, "Hey guys, big gulps, huh?" All right. Well,
all right.
That was all improvised. Because he's supposed to just get out, go into the van. He did it because the two guys there are non-speaking roles. So they're only getting paid as extras for non-speaking roles. So they're not allowed to say anything. So when he did that, they look at each other like, look at him like, we're not allowed to speak in this movie. Like, literally, they're like, don't you speak in that movie? Like, I guess that's like a Hollywood thing. Like, if you're a non-speaking role, don't say a word. And so he did it to fuck with those guys.
Oh, that's amazing.
And to fuck
I didn't
with
know
the
that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. That's one of my pieces of trivia I love to tell people.
That's legit used that every other week. I used it on Friday. I used it this past Friday at work, and I was just like, still working, huh? All right, see you later. And I just left. So yeah, I quote it all the time.
Yeah, Jim Carrey's amazing. Everybody in that cast though is absolutely amazing. Like that.
Another fun fact: they did so much cocaine while they filmed that.
Oh yeah,
oh really?
So much cocaine.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great story.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah,
to
yeah.
preface.
Good for them.
Don't go do a bunch of cocaine, but
Good
you know,
for them and all
when
the
you
cocaine.
were when you were making a really ridiculous comedy movie in the '90s, cocaine was great for them.
So the message, kids, is that drugs make you famous. No, wait, that's not the message. They make you funny. No,
they can't.
Wait, no. But look at
They
Tommy
make
Boy.
a classic movie. Well,
Wait,
Tommy Boy
wait,
too.
no,
yeah,
bad
it's not
example.
Yeah,
Bad
you,
example.
oh come on now, really?
There's a lot of cocaine on that set, I think.
Well, you know, rest in peace, Chris Farley died
Absolutely,
from a
yeah,
heroin
of
overdose. One of the funniest men to ever live, for sure.
Well, you know what?
Amazing.
He wanted
So
to
good.
he wanted to Belushi his way through it, and he did. And so,
Yeah.
like, as much as like that's a terrible thing, and he had definitely had more to give, and it's sad. Like, there's something to be said for the fact that like he did everything his way, he did what he wanted to do, and you know, he went out like his idol did. And while it's not cool, and I wish he didn't, hey man, like
He did what he wanted.
he did it his way. You know, like it's
Oh,
there.
I did it my way. Yeah.
Wait, so are you a black sheep guy too?
I like anything Chris Farley, for sure.
Okay.
What did you feel about the Dumb and Dumber
Don't.
sequel?
No, that doesn't exist.
Why did you ask him?
I
No.
wanted to make sure.
Prequel, sequel,
make
doesn't
sure.
matter.
No.
That movie's
there was
so perfect.
Yeah, everything is right
Perfect.
place, right time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that movie, it was all right place, right time. Nobody saw it coming. It was good. But I mean, the same can be said for Chris Farley movies. Like Beverly Hills Ninja is still friggin' hilarious, you know?
Yeah, definitely hilarious. Definitely hilarious.
Yeah, underrated movie. For
Although
sure.
Dumb and Dumber, I'm still waiting for the right event on a Halloween, or the right event in general, and the right partner to do the tuxedos, because
I'm in.
that has to happen.
I'm in.
It absolutely has to happen.
Nice Hooters. The Owls.
Samsonite.
They're lovely.
I was way off.
So, Derril, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me.
Please tell everybody where they can find you, your music, your brand new EP that's going to be out by the time this comes out.
That we didn't talk about nearly enough, but that's what happens on the show.
That's okay. Just go listen to it. Like, it
Yeah.
speaks for itself, honestly.
Absolutely
you-
it does.
If you had a lot of struggles through the pandemic, then there's going to be relatable content for you. But you can check it out anywhere that you stream music. I'm sure soon enough, by the time that the episode comes out, we'll have some pre-order packages and stuff for you to be able to order merch if you like having physical copies of music, or you know, a shirt or anything like that. We'll have all that for you as well. But you can check that out. We're on Instagram, Facebook, all your social medias. Like I said, we'll have a TikTok up and running by then too, because that is a great platform if you haven't checked it out. But anything the Ansible.atx. But yeah, check it out for fans of heavy melodic music with a whiny singer.
For fans of good music.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, Spirit
Thank
Box is pretty big right now.
Yeah.
And they have, you know, like, it's a girl singer. It's not whiny, but you know,
Oh my God. She has
very-
one of the best voices too.
she's
So good.
fucking ridiculous. But anyway, we're not here to talk about them. We're talking about the Ansible. Derril, thank you so much for coming on, dude.
Thank you, Mike and Jimmy.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. Thanks.
Everybody,
please-
make sure you check out Bacon Is My Podcast. Do you guys have merch?
We do at baconismypodcast.com. We have t-shirts like the one Mike is wearing, the Don't Axe Me shirt with Stormbreaker, because that is part of our Grammar Is My Passion series.
Don't you
Okay.
hate when you hear people go, "Hey, let me ask you a question," and it's like, "Don't ask me,
Yeah,
because
don't
you'll
fucking
be a
ask me.
murderer."
Don't fucking axe me. So for all your stupid shit, baconismypodcast.com.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for
Thank
hanging
you,
out with us,
dude.
dude. It's been a blast.
Absolutely.
And always remember,
Yeah.
ask yourself,
One question.
what's your bacon?
What's your bacon?
All of it is
All right.
my bacon.
All of it. That's the episode. That's it. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks,
If you
guys.
could give us one, we'll pop out of here and put you on and just give us one, like, you know, hey, it's Derril from the Ansible, and you have been consuming bacon as my podcast, or however you want to say it, or whatever you want to say, and then we'll kind of pop it into future episodes too, so
Awesome.
that it just keeps the band name in our episodes and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha. Hello, friends. This is Derril from the Ansible, and you are consuming Bacon is My Podcast.
Awesome. Thank you so much, dude. Open door policy. Anytime you guys need to promote anything, anytime you want to,
Dude, I want to come
jump
talk to
on
you
and
again.
talk about anything,
Whenever.
whenever
I
you
mean,
want.
if I would have realized, I'm only in town for a short time, and the wife's here for several weeks, so we're gonna do dinner and whatnot.
Yeah, man.
Have a little date night since we haven't spent a lot of time together. So I hate to cut it short, and honestly, most of the interviews I've been doing are like 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So this has been awesome. I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys so much, and
Awesome.
I would
Cool,
love
man.
to come do it again with you.
Absolutely. And when you guys are on tour and anything, anytime you're coming through New York, Long Island, anything like that, hit us up, let us know. We'll try and get more people to
Definitely.
the show. We'll definitely
Awesome.
come hang out, and we'll come out and have a drink with you or something like that.
Yeah, man. I got to buy you guys a beer.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All right. And anytime you're out this way, make sure you let us know. We'll go hang out.
Awesome.
Well, I'm in the South Carolina region pretty often because my parents live out there, but they're in
Okay.
like Indian land. But
Okay.
I was just in Murrells Inlet this week, this July. So
Nice. Yeah, man. My mom lives down that way, so hit me up, man. We'll go grab a beer and watch a shitty cover band.
Awesome. Love it.
yeah,
Love it,
sounds
man.
about right.
Have a good date night,
All right,
brother. We'll
dude.
see you
Cool.
soon. All right.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Enjoy.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. You want to do the intro and the outro? Now we'll do the outro.
Yep.
Hey.
He's
That was
on a
awesome.
date. He's on a date.
He's
gotta
on
go
a
on a
date right
date.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him, man.
So I hope they're having a good date.
He's in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
They've got to have good food there.
They do.
So,
They do. It's awesome.
Derril, thank you for coming on.
And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you guys for listening,
Yeah,
for
we appreciate
watching.
it very much.
It's been awesome. Check out the Ansible.
Yeah, definitely do.
Check out their new EP. It's out now. All streaming platforms. It's got a little bit of everything for everybody. We talked about it a little bit. We touched on a lot of things. He's got a great voice. It touches on a lot of different genres. They're a very prog rocky band, but they also do have like happy songs. So it's you know, happy periphery, if you will.
Yeah, it's interesting. it's a good explanation of it.
Yeah. But Jimsy,
yeah.
But Jimsy,
Yes, sir.
where can they find you and
Well,
your stuff? And
I'm
your
not a happy
band?
periphery. I'm more of a sad cheap trick.
Yeah.
And you can find me at Jimmy G's Shoes on the Instagram and Twitter. And you can find my band Craving Strange at cravingstrange.net. And from there, you can link to all of our socials and all of our stuff. It's either at Craving Strange or it's at Craving Strange Music. But if you go to the website, cravingstrange.net, you can get to everything. Mike, how about you?
Everything on the socials. Me personally, I am at me my own self Mike on all of my band Something Heavy socials. It's at Something Heavy Music, also somethingheavymusic.com. You can catch us on all the streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Deezer.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, that's the thing.
All right.
Apparently,
Yeah, Deezer. If you're
yeah.
listening on Deezer, please hit us up.
Please
and
let us know if you're
that
using
listening on
Deezer. I want to know why you're using Deezer over.
Yeah, who's
everything
listening to
else.
us on Deezer? Please hit us up.
Or Deezer, if you're willing to sponsor us, let us know why you should listen on the.
We'll go exclusive.
We'll go exclusive. Anyway, you can also catch Jimmy and I's music on Bacon is My Podcast. Passion. Bacon is My Passion on all the streaming things as well. We've got some cool singles out.
You can also find it at baconismypodcast.com, though. You can find links to Bacon is My Passion stuff. You can find all of our previous episodes of the podcast right at baconismypodcast.com. You can find our t-shirts, swag and stuff like this shirt Mike's sporting right now.
Boom.
The Don't Ax Me, because grammar is my passion.
Yes.
That series is out now. We have a special, it's been a Thor month. I've had a Thor month shirt right now that we're doing in partnership with the Manic Pixie Weirdo podcast. So check that out. And yeah, just hit us up. Stay in the conversation with hashtag What's Your Bacon.
And if you want to go the little extra mile, head over to patreon.com/baconismypodcast, where you can find all these episodes early, ad-free, sometimes extended, and you get additional episodes of like tasting, which is what I'm trying to get him to do now.
Yeah, we might do one. And then cooking show.
Yeah.
Right?
Live streams,
watch alongs, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
We do all kinds of things. So join us on there if you'd like to. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Can't spell extraordinary without that little bit of extra. So
I like that.
I got it from the movie Waiting.
Yeah.
Maybe
Okay.
that'll be a watch along.
Yeah, that'll be. I like that movie too.
Yeah,
I'll do it. I think
Early
I think
Ryan
I
Reynolds.
own it.
Early Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So thank you very much for hanging out. We do appreciate it. We appreciate you. If you're watching us on Strangerhood TV and you're watching the visual version, please subscribe, hit the buttons, hit the bell, and stick with us on there and check out all the cool stuff on Strangerhood TV. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us that 5-star review. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, give us a share. If you're listening to us on Deezer, again,
follow us.
Follow us, share us. And if you're on Deezer, again, let us know why and let us know how. Stay in the conversation with hashtag What's Your Bacon. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you for listening. And ask yourself every single day,
one question: what is your bacon?
what's your bacon?
Damn it!
I like the damn it.
Yeah.
You love your weekly dose of bacon as my podcast, but you need even more bacon. Well, just go over to baconismypodcast.com. You can engage even more with us over there. It's a pathway to our music, extra content, our social media pages. Most importantly, grab yourself some pretty sweet swag and put it all over your body parts. Again, that's baconismypodcast.com. Listen to some tunes, pick up some merch, and tell us, what's your bacon?